First impressions. We all know how important first impressions are. How important it is when you're meeting your baby mama's dad for the first time, or when you go to that dreaded job interview. Album openers aren't much different when you think about it. But what makes an opener good? It's important for an opener to pull you in and get you immersed. It's good to have some energy or something captivating, and it needs to set the stage right for the rest of the album. It needs to hook you and get you wanting more. Another aspect that makes a good opener is having a really good song, maybe a highlight of an album, but not the best on the album. I think it's great when an album starts with a bang, but still leaves room to be improved upon later on in the record. Setting the stage, making you expect more but not peaking too early and leaving you disappointed during a top to bottom listen. Today, I'm going to be talking about songs that do just that. Songs that crack open an album so well for one reason or another. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I'm very excited to be talking about this track, as I've been looking forward to talking about this song and its respective album on the channel. We've got Mojave 3's Love Songs on the radio. If you're a fan of the band Slowdive, you may already be familiar with Mojave 3. But for those who aren't, Mojave 3 is an alt-country band composed of Neil Halstead, Rachel Goswell, and Ian McCutcheon of Slowdive. It was their next project after Slowdive disbanded, and they wasted no time to bring us Mojave 3's debut, Ask Me Tomorrow. I've come to enjoy this album quite a bit, and its opener is one of several reasons for that. I remember the first time I listened to this song, I was immediately captivated by it. It's such a beautiful and touching song with its use of the somber acoustic guitars and amazing slide work. I also love this track because it resonates with me in several different ways. Not only is it soft, soothing, and pretty, but I also feel a twinge of sadness from this song. I think the instrumentation and vocal work perfectly captures this blend, and I love it. Rachel Goswell absolutely killed it on this track, and the instrumental outro is nothing short of heavenly. It almost feels otherworldly to listen to with its bittersweet vibes, and I absolutely love it for that too. An easy highlight on a solid record, and it sets the stage perfectly for what you're getting into with the record itself. Great opener and great start here, courtesy of Mojave 3. Next up, I've got a thrash metal classic with Metallica's Blackened. Metallica has a handful of other great openers, such as Fight Fire with Fire or Battery, for example, but I wanted to show some love to And Justice for All and its opener. Even with the lackluster production compared to Metallica's previous albums, I still love And Justice to death. And I think it was a great move to start with Blackened. And Justice features many lengthier tracks, but Blackened is good because it gives you a taste for what you're in for with the record without overstaying its welcome. It starts off great with the build-up before kicking into that main iconic riff we all know and love. It's an energetic and compact song, so it really gets the blood flowing and keeps that head-banging feeling throughout. Blackened is heavy, fast-paced, it's a hell of a fun listen, and a great way to open up And Justice. Metallica was really feeling themselves in the early years, so it's no surprise they gave us a classic banger here. Up next, I wanted to talk about Neon Nights by Black Sabbath, opening their Heaven and Hell album. Similar to Metallica, Black Sabbath also has a plethora of album openers I could have talked about, but I've got a soft spot for Dio's Black Sabbath. Might be a bit of a hot take, but I think Dio is a better singer than Ozzy, and Dio had some solid work in his time with Black Sabbath, this track being one of them. Neon Nights doesn't pull any punches. It's straight into the action from the get-go, and while the riffage is pretty simple, it gets stuck in my head so easily with the catchy guitar work, groovy bass, and of course, Dio's vocal work. Neon Nights sets the stage for the remainder of the album well, and it's all around just such a fun time to listen to. Every time it comes on in a playlist or something, I'm always like, hell yeah. Common Dio and Black Sabbath W here, what more can I say? Moving along, we've got Pagan Love Song from Acid Bath's Pagan Terrorism Tactics. Starting with the pseudo title track of the record, this song was the best one they could have picked for the opener. It starts the album off with a banger of a song that's heavy and fun to listen to thanks to its killer riffs and guttural screams from Dax Riggs. Now, the first 3 tracks are all fantastic. Bleed Me an Ocean is great. You know, it's dynamic and varied, it's fun with the sludgy melodic riffs, and I love Greyflower to death with its dark beauty, but Pagan Love Song has just got that opener energy that fits the bill a bit better than the others. Pagan Love Song is a great pillar in that trifecta, and it sets a high bar for the rest of the album, giving you a small little taste before you get into the even darker parts of the record as it goes along. Great song, great energetic opener, great shit all around from Acid Bath. One of my favorite songs of theirs. Alice in Chains, an iconic band. A band of whom my love for is no secret at all. A band who also has an array of solid openers I could have talked about here. Wow, I really am like a broken record right now. I could have mentioned We Die Young, a classic energetic headbanger with sick riffs and a notable Lane Staley performance. I could have talked about Them Bones for the same reason. But today I've decided to share some love to Grind, which opens up their 3rd album in a great way. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, Grind goes hard as fuck. It's so raw and dirty in the best ways possible. The guitar work is simple, but the hammering riffs and the dissonant guitar wails hit so hard it's tight. The lyricism and vocal deliveries from Lane also help make this song such a badass headbanger. Here are some of my favorite lines in this track. Pair those aspects together and this song never fails to give me the stank face. It's a great song with a lot of dark, aggressive energy to it, which makes it an awesome opener to a grim album such as Tripod. Coming back around to alt country, we have another notable name in the game with Mazzy Star's Fade Into You, opening up So Tonight That I Might See. Y'all might be familiar with this one, it's pretty well known even outside of its respective record. You know, it's all around TikTok and whatnot. While I have mixed opinions on popular TikTok songs, I will say this one is pretty solid. The instrumentation is solid, the vocals are great and work well in tandem with the guitars, and it's all around a good listen for a lot of the same reasons love songs on the radio is. It's compelling, it resonates strongly by feeling romantic yet also somber at the same time. It even utilizes a slide, like Mojave 3 and their opening track. Maybe Neil Halstead took inspiration from this song. Fade Into You is also one of those songs that exemplifies what I said earlier. A song that's very notable in a record and opens it up well, but doesn't make it peak early and still leaves room for some even more notable tracks. It gets you excited for the rest of the album with a palatable track and delivers later in the album with some deep cuts. Good opener from a good album. Another alt country essential here. Next up, we've got yet another song I haven't talked about on the channel yet, so I'm excited to get into this one too. We've got First Kill from Amon Amarth's Joms Viking. Damn. Real shit here, guys. What a way to open up an album. Joms Viking is cool because it's a concept album. Who doesn't love a little concept album action? And what a way to start a story. This song is tight. It's like an entire epic at the forefront of a record. It's written and structured well, the instrumentation and the raw prowess of the guitar is fantastic, it gets me pumped up every time I throw it on. It makes for a notably immersive listen, even if I'm not typically into this kind of setting in stories. The choruses are great, and really it's got solid instrumentation all around from start to finish. It's a strong start to an album with a compelling tale to tell, and I like it quite a bit. We're gonna cool it down a bit for this next one. Shelf in the Room from Days of the New's self-titled debut is yet another one that I've made my enjoyment for very apparent. It's one of the best songs on the record, and while it's very mellow and chill compared to some of the other openers I've talked about today, I like it for that reason. It's good to open up an album with the representation of the project going forward, and with an acoustic album such as Days of the New, I like that it opens up with something more lax and immersive with its clean riffs and cohesive instrumentation, even compared to the likes of The Downtown, which is a more energetic and peppy tune. The vibes in Shelf in the Room slap, and frankly are seldom matched on the rest of this album. I like that it still manages to stand out with just the atmosphere created because of this. An easy highlight of the album. Great song and a great opener. From the very first few seconds of Flattening of Emotions, it becomes crystal clear the absolute banger of a record you're about to get into with Death's Human. The drum intro is sick, and it doesn't take long before the song explodes into a barrage of fast-paced and brutal progression, and it doesn't let up until it ends. Throughout the track, it offers awesome instrumentation across the board. Literally every aspect pulls so much weight. The bangin' guitar riffs, Chuck's refined gutturals, the girthy bass, and constant blasting of the drums. They all blend together amazingly, and Flattening of Emotions is only the start, a mere taste of what you're about to get into with the rest of Human. It serves as a good starter with the aggressive energy, and as the record goes on, it becomes obvious that Flattening of Emotions is far from the only song of its caliber. Human continues its motifs of brutal yet melodic instrumentation throughout, and they picked a hell of a way to start it all off. Common Chuck Schuldiner and Death W. Elliott Smith's self-titled album is a hella solid record, and that becomes quite apparent from the get-go with Needle in the Hay. This is the kind of song that gets stuck in your head super easily. Needle in the Hay is a really great way to start up this record with its catchy instrumentation, compelling lyricism, and addictive choruses. Every aspect of this track is memorable for being so catchy and impactful, yet so chill, grounded, and real. It's a big reason Elliott's music was so captivating. It's very honest, it's very human, and it speaks volumes in so many ways. Pair that with some of the catchiest instrumentation on the album, and you've got a song that really leaves a strong impression on you in several ways. And if that doesn't make for a great opener, a great precursor for what's to come, what does? I love this song for its lyricism too. Like I mentioned, Elliott excelled at writing hard-hitting lyrics, and Needle in the Hay is a prime example of this aspect. Blended with a groovy melody no less, it's definitely a fantastic way to open up this great album. Rest in peace, Elliott Smith. Ah yes, Angel Dust, my beloved. An iconic album with a memorable opener. Land of Sunshine, a song that near perfectly sets the stage for the roller coaster ride of experimentation and wackiness you get with Angel Dust. Low-key, the biggest reason I love Land of Sunshine is because, much like this album as a whole, it subverts expectations. From the opening riff, you may think that it's vaguely similar to the Real Things opener from Out of Nowhere, which is also a great song and opener to that album. But when that funky and addictive bass line hits with that guitar thundering in the background, you quickly realize that everything about this album is a severance from The Real Thing. Angel Dust is a wildly different experience from its predecessors, and Land of Sunshine signifies that within the first 10 seconds. It's like a delicious plate of mozzarella sticks before the full course meal. And on top of that, the song is just overall incredibly fun throughout. It's upbeat and energetic, which makes it a blast to listen to. The chemistry between each of the members is fantastic, and it all ties together to make a remarkable roller coaster of a listen, even with the juxtaposition of rather cynical lyricism. Faith No More had a recipe for a memorable opener, and they definitely cooked with Land of Sunshine. Wins all around. The Shooting Star from Gojira's Magma is a beautiful opener to an album as good as Magma is. Gojira got wildly creative with Magma, experimenting more with atmospheric and melodic instrumentation, and The Shooting Star symbolizes this creativity right from the very start. Everything about it hits so hard with its spacious and thundering riffs, clean vocals, and overall complex vibe that it offers. In a way, it's mesmerizing and ethereal with its immersive atmosphere and captivating riffs. But I like that it's also a bit thought-provoking and somber too. And that ending is Chef's Kiss. I've always loved when Gojira taps into that style, and they did it fantastically with The Shooting Star. This track is no doubt a highlight, and even on repeat listens, The Shooting Star never fails to get me excited for the remainder of Magma. Extremely common W for Gojira. Aces High from Iron Maiden's Power Slave serves as a textbook effective album opener. It's some of Maiden's best work at the forefront of one of their most acclaimed albums, and for great reason. Aces High is hype as hell with its grand opening before it segues into fun instrumentation throughout. Pair that with the awesome vocal work from Bruce Dickinson, most notably in the choruses, and you've got yourself an opener that's nothing short of addicting, fun, and memorable. Every member pulls so much weight here, and it makes for a really cohesive and enjoyable listen that gets the blood pumping every time and sets a high bar straight out of the gate. Not much else to say, honestly. A definite Iron Maiden classic. I'm gonna take you guys all the way back to the 50s for this next one. That's right, we have an absolute classic in the most literal sense with Marty Robbins' Big Iron. This track is iconic even to this very day thanks to its storytelling and memorable, catchy singing in its several verses. The guitar work is nice and tame but complements the story told in the song and lets the vocal work shine as the focal point. It starts gunfighter ballads and trail songs off with a bang. And it's cool because this style is done well not just in this song, but throughout the whole record. So you know what you're getting right off the bat, and it keeps that going through the duration of the album. I don't have much else to say about it, frankly. I think its iconicism speaks for itself, and it's no surprise why it's still remembered over 6 decades later. Good stuff here. I am once again talking about Megadeth. Like several other bands we've talked about today, Megadeth has a handful of other fantastic openers I could have chosen from. However, today I'd like to share some love for Euthanasia's Reckoning Day. Reckoning Day is easily a highlight on this record. There's a few tracks across this album that I feel are a little lacking, but Reckoning Day is one of the best on this one. And to start everything off, it sets the bar high. The riffage is a bit more subdued compared to their previous albums from the early 90s, but Simple still managed to be very effective in this case. The song is cool with its more straightforward yet heavy, cohesive, and hard-hitting guitar work, especially in the pre-choruses and the choruses themselves. It's so easy for me to get immersed in the track and jam along with it, making it that much more fun. I also enjoy its consistent progression. I like how it gets more and more amped up throughout the track before fading into the drum lick to end it off. A solid, well-rounded opener here and a noteworthy song in general, even though Euthanasia does unfortunately taper off a smidgen. Well, that's about all I've got for you today, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more like this, let me know. And while you're at it, feel free to let me know any album openers you think are great. But until next time, take care. Oh.